good morning, world. This is Smith of the Smith and Rowland Show. I'm waiting on my partner in crime, Mr. Rowland, heavy on the mister. He's trying to come into the room. Sometimes it takes him a little while to get here, but he's coming in the room. We'll be discussing some topics today that is probably to your liking. So here comes Mr. Rowland now. I'm sure he'll be talking when he enters the room. He usually is. So he's trying to enter now.
Can you hear me now?
There he is.
The star of the
just
show
like
has just arrived.
Yeah. I told everybody you'd come in the room.
Well, I was back there in the green room.
With the mouth fluttered.
Yeah, I was back there in the green room eating strawberries and cream. And
there you go.
Then they said it was time for Smith and Rowland, and they needed the star of the show to come on. So here I am.
That's exactly right. So there you are. The fallen star. How you doing there, Rowland?
Doing wonderfully well. I can't complain a bit. If I was to complain, everybody'd get to feeling bad about themselves complaining because,
because your complaints for Trump, any other complaints.
Oh,
well, I'll tell you what.
They call me Jeff Trump's Rowland hashtag. That's what they, yeah.
You crazy.
In more ways than you know.
Well, let me give you a couple of headlines this morning on the stream here.
Yeah.
And just all I need is just a 5-second commentary as I go through them. The Brew, that's Al Baroda. Yeah, the Brew. Cohen gets crossed while trans golfer edges closer to playing in U.S. Women's Open.
Okay. All right.
Well, I just thought that's where we'd start.
No, see, I don't know why I continuously allow you to do this to me, but ladies and gentlemen, here's what happened. Alan just called me. He said, let's go online. He said, I got some interesting things to talk about. Then he hangs up. He don't give me a heads up.
Yeah.
No, he starts the show. Then he hits me with these headlines, and he's trying to get a rise out of me, which never happens. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not get overly passionate about anything. So I don't know why you continuously try to do this about this whole trans ideology and stuff like that. I don't understand. Now, read the headline one more time.
Well, I want to skip that one because since you've already went all over the rails on it. Here's another one by Michael Brown. Here's another one by Michael Brown. Confirmation that the world has lost its mind. Dr. Michael Brown.
I got to tell you, if we need confirmation on that now, then we've done lost our mind. I mean, we don't need confirmation.
He just points out a few little things here to substantiate his title, the confirmation that the world has lost its mind. Number one, queers for Palestine.
It's not funny.
Comment?
It is not funny. But we have talked about this before. Yeah,
I'm serious. The very next headline declared, watch, anti-Israel queers for Palestine protesters block access to Disney World. Now, there.
See, I don't like you. I want everybody to know that. And what is here? Michael Brown is so right. I mean, listen, when queers start protesting on behalf of the crowd that puts them to death for being queer, then you know they've lost their mind.
I mean, lost their mind. Is that not proof that they don't know which end is up? No pun intended. No pun intended. And
you've already punned. I mean, you can't not intend it. You've done pun.
No. And so I'm like, oh my Jesus, help us. Take the wheel.
You can't. You just can't. You just can't. The darkness and delusion is of such proportions now that you can't make sense out of none of this stuff. You really can't.
Well, let me read a little more he says about this. It says, in this story, we learned that tensions rose when anti-Israel protesters with the group Queers for Palestine blocked traffic on Saturday outside Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Queers for Palestine? But of course, that's like blacks for the KKK or Jews for Nazism.
Exactly.
A delightful mix. You can feel the chemistry, he says. Never mind the fact. Well, go ahead.
I just want to ask the question: why are they protesting at Disney World? I mean, what
well,
what does that mean?
What does that mean? I think it means that Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse are having problems with Sylvester the cat.
Yeah, well, that's right.
They're having.
Yeah, I think Mickey.
Because Mickey wants to be Minnie and Minnie wants to be Mickey.
That's right. That's what I started to say.
And what happens? They're in a and then Sylvester wants to be Pluto. So I mean, it's just all you see. Disney World. This is falling apart.
we should have known this.
I mean, he goes on to say one more little paragraph. Never mind the fact that there are exactly 0 queers in Palestine. Because as many have pointed out, such people would be instantly marked for death by the terrorist in charge.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Now.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it seems like, ironically, that just about every issue that's out there has this little twist with it, that people are pro whatever destroys themselves. They will protest on behalf of their own self-destruction. It just does not make any sense. Yet Christians are accused of hating the queer, and we're just trying to get the queer not to go to Palestine and get hung or we
just want them to get saved. We just want them to get saved. That's all.
That's all.
Well, here. Okay, let's leave that one because let's leave that. Let's go to the next one. And the next thing he's pointed out, of course, he's trying to substantiate and give his reasons for confirmation that the world has lost its mind. Now he goes on to this next one, which says, glad, so sad. GLAAD. That must be an organization I'm not familiar with.
It's an organization.
But glad, so sad. And I'm sure you know much more about it than I. I'm not well versed in those type things. Finally, we read that. We read that Jennifer Lawrence calls Mike Pence gay at GLAAD Media Awards. Conversion therapy is not real, even though you think it worked on you. After making a crude joke about gay sex and noting that she once fell in love with a gay man, but eventually realized her love would never be reciprocated, Lawrence chose to attack the former vice president. I wonder how far in the relationship it took her to figure that one out. Lawrence chose to attack the former vice president as if he had been gay and had become straight. And then Brown says, "This is so funny." So there you go. We've gone mad. I tell you what, Brown's winning me over on that title.
Well, watch. Basically, Jennifer Lawrence is trying to look at Christian converts and Christian conversion in the same way of paralleling of homosexual conversion. Right. Which, let me just say, that does give you insight into their whole ideology, because queerism is now a religion. It's a religion to them. And I'm talking about even to those that are straight that support the gays, which I view as far more dangerous than being gay itself. Is they are drawing those parallels and making it a religion to be gay.
Well, they're again like Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, okay, I think she done pretty good on X-Men, but but nonetheless, that Jennifer Lawrence makes a living in making movies, which is creating stories of make believe.
Yep.
This is not reality, fantasy, make believe.
Yep.
That's how they make their living. Now, what I don't understand about these all of these actors and actresses coming out with their political ideas, what I don't understand. Okay, your qualifications is you come out of a place of make believe, and so now you're going to tell us about reality, and you've got an opinion.
Right.
That seems to be very, very counter.
Yeah, exactly.
And so why in the world, just because you're pretty good on X-Men, why does that make you I mean, it just totally blows my mind why anybody would take these actors and actresses
serious.
Serious. I mean, you can take them serious, but why do they seem to be the plumb line? I guess we should say is what
Alan, in Hollywood, and all those shows and movies, they end up with a utopian end. For all things, for every situation, there's this utopian euphoria that's created through the script and the acting, and somehow they take that and they transfer it into a reality where there is no negative consequences to any behavior. And I think they have been lulled into believing their own drama, and they've been lulled into believing their own sense of fantasy, how that it will in the end, it's going to their idea of no negative consequences is going to be a living reality. I really believe that they have a psychological problem there.
Yeah, well, that's like jumping off a cliff, and on the way down, you say, the end of this is not going to impact me.
Yeah, that's right. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. That's right.
It's not going to hurt.
Because I saw Wile E. Coyote do it all of my life, and he kept living. So apparently it's going to be all right.
That's exactly right. And it just so happens that's not reality. Now, he goes on to say here that, I said GLAAD, GLAAD, is the acronym for the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation.
Right.
The Lesbian and the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. Last month, GLAAD bemoaned the fact that the number of LGBTQ characters on television had decreased, according to the group's annual study, that now they feel like they're not being represented. For series regulars across primetime scripted broadcasting programming, 8.6% were LGBTQ. That's probably more than there were males. 8.6% were LGBTQ.
8.6%.
That's for series regulars. Yeah, and that's for series regulars on primetime.
And that's supposed to be down, they say. And
that's
the population,
down. Yeah, that's down.
Yeah, and the population of queers and lesbians in America, I think they say is 1%, or less than 1%.
They'd probably disagree with you, because based on this article, on top of that, of all the LGBTQ characters that were counted, 468, 50% were LGBTQ.
Oh,
people of color, while only 5.1% identified as transgender. That's just one of the alphabets there. The study also found 36% of LGBTQ characters included will not be returning next season. So that's what that's part of their problem there. This is supposed to be bad news, reflected of a dangerous decline in LGBTQ characters. Seriously, he says. 468 LGBTQ characters is not enough. You're kidding me, he says. And 1 in 20 characters identifying as transgender is not enough, even though that is 10 times higher than reality. And let's keep in mind that exactly none of those 468 characters will be portrayed in a negative light. They don't play a bad character. A transgender character committing the kinds of atrocities for which Karen Fisher was recently arrested will never be portrayed in any crime drama as the perpetrator. Only the victim. Now that was just another reason there that
that the world's lost their
our
mind.
Friend, that the world's lost their mind. So anyway, that was Mr. Brown's struggle. Now that's that one article. You got any more comments on that artile?
Yeah, I got several comments on that article. It's not just the homosexual, the HILOMICKEY group that's caused the world to lost their mind. It's also the DEMOCRATIC group that confirms that we've lost our mind. It's the Democrat, socialist, communist, anarchist philosophy that causes us all to stand back and say, yep, we've officially lost our gourd and we're going to lose our nation because of it. Kneeling at the altar of worshiping these idol gods of perverted sex ideology and perverted government ideology and a perversion of trying to replace Christianity in teaching us how we're going to take care of the poor. It's officially confirming that we've lost our mind.
I need to call you on the carpet. I think you really need to say how you feel. You see, you're beating around the bush here a little bit. And,
okay. Let me say it a little bit more plain. If you're a Democrat, you've lost your mind.
Wait a minute.
That's all they are to it. Hey, let me just say, I'm only repeating the news. Donald Trump said the same thing yesterday. He was reading an excerpt of what Alan Dershowitz had said, and Alan Dershowitz was supporting Trump. He was supporting Trump. He gave a statement in support of Trump, but he in his statement he said, "Now I'm a Democrat, but I'm supporting Trump." And Donald Trump at the end, after he read the statement, he said, "And let me just say, if you're still a Democrat, that you've lost your mind." He said,
"Did he really?
You've lost your brain if you're still." Concur with Donald Trump and Michael Brown. We've officially lost our mind because we've got too many Democrats in the nation.
So he was trying to brag on Trump, and
that's just all they are to
it. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and Trump read how he bragged on him, but because he put in there he was a Democrat, he said, if you're still a Democrat after all of this, then you've lost your mind. So see, Donald Trump, I think, read Michael Brown's article.
Yeah, he can't. Well, Trump.
Yeah, he was reciting what Michael Brown said.
Well, he can't even take a compliment hardly. I mean, it's hard to brag on.
No, he can't. He really can't. It was so funny. It was so funny.
Well, he's got to brag on himself. He won't hardly take it from anybody else.
But I got to tell you, here's the thing. I agree with him. Alan Dershowitz said he's a Jew, and he said, and our president has drew weapons back from Israel. And this Jew was supporting Trump, but he said, he qualified it by saying, but now I'm a Democrat. And I'm thinking the same thing Trump is. If you're still a Democrat now, then you've lost your mind. You can't even think properly. I mean, I don't understand it. It's like the queers supporting Hamas. If a Jew would support the Democrats, it's the same as the queers supporting Hamas, because the Democrats is getting them killed. Same. Yeah, same. Just same. I mean,
okay, let's leave the LGBTQ. Let's leave all of that.
I tried to, and you just kept on reading that article.
I'm going to take us. Well, there's another article here about Michael Brown, and this is an older topic, but it's not but a couple of weeks old. But it's a fresh article. But the church that hired a former male stripper to perform at a men's conference. Now, I'm just saying that as we move on here,
Why do you do it to me? I don't understand. You planned every bit of this. I knew you was a little too eager to do a podcast this morning. I knew you
I had
was,
not
and
seen,
this is why.
Yeah,
I
hadn't
is why.
seen any of these. Yeah. I had not even looked at it until I clicked on it, and I looked at it and I did a little overview while we were starting here, and I thought, oh my dear Jesus.
Yeah, we're going to leave the LGBTQ thing and talk about a male stripper in a church. I mean, I don't understand
well, let me hit just the highlights that Dr. Brown said on this one. Good church, bad decision. Question mark. What do you think about that? He says, good church, bad decision. The plot thickened when I received a phone call from one of my ministry grads. Now a trusted colleague. Dr. Brown said, I go to this church. I know this pastor. He's a fine man and he preaches holiness and purity. Wow.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
Good church, bad decision. Maybe was, might need to say post good church, bad decision.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would say something along those lines. If I had to say anything, I'd say that. Here he said that preacher preaches holiness. And then, but he had a male stripper. Okay, I'm back to something that we heard Jordan Peterson say the other day, and I heard it again this morning. He was defining worship, and the other day he was talking about belief, and he said belief as well as worship is not in words you say, it's in the way you live. So it becomes awful easy to preach a message of holiness, but if you then invite a male stripper to come in at a men's conference and entertain the men that's there, that's not an act of holiness.
I don't think it's so much what kind of churches is. I think it's more about what kind of men sitting there watching this.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
I totally I'll be honest with you. I mean, they had several thousand men there, and I'm like, and I think you said less than 100 walked out. I'm wondering what them other 3,000
but watch this. Here's what I think. I think that if you'd have got up and really preached a message on holiness, you'd have probably had 100 that would have stayed and 3,000 that would have walked out. And that's the paradigm that we have.
Yeah, my concern there is not to belabor this too much more, but my concern there, and the reason I say that, like I just said it, Jeff, is the congregations are putting up with mess in the pulpits that they shouldn't be putting up with.
Totally
I'm just honest with you.
I absolutely agree.
Somebody, it's just, I mean, I'm not saying you need to get up and walk out all your churches, but I am saying we need to talk.
You made a comment here.
Or not.
Yeah, you made a comment several podcasts ago, that when you said it, I thought, wow. And then the longer I thought about it, the more I agree with it. It might be a good thing if church attendance is down in America, because I don't know that I want people to go to a church like that anyway. And there's a lot of truth in that. There's some truth to be said there. Because you're right, congregations are putting up with stuff in the pulpit now that just wouldn't have been tolerated or allowed, not even 20 years ago. But go back 40 and 50 years ago, and half the preachers that's pastoring in churches now wouldn't be allowed to preach.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even be allowed to preach. There is something to what you're saying. There's something to what you're saying about, might be better off not to go to church if that's the kind of church that they have to go to.
So that would just. Well, listen, let's finish this up. We got about 3 or 4 minutes here. Dave Cabal, which is also a writer for the Stream, he's got an article here, Jeff, 5 ways to pray for America. Let's end up on this thought. 5 ways to pray for America. And his first one, well, just let me read them and we'll comment on them. Pray for godly leadership. Pray for peace in America. Pray for the church. Pray for revival. And pray for intercessors who will answer the call. You and I've been, that's the last one, and you and I talked about that some yesterday.
Yeah.
Praying for the revival, I'm all for. Pray for the church, of course. Peace in America, of course. Definitely for godly leadership. But yesterday, it seemed like you were tend to have in the crosshairs of your spiritual scope this idea of praying for intercessors who will answer the call.
Yeah, boy.
Let's finish up today's with comment. What was the Lord sharing with you? You had some concerns, and you had also some good thoughts on that.
Well, on Friday nights we have a small group of people that gather, and it's online. We put the teachings online, but
where are they?
It's down at the garage at my house.
No, I mean, where are they online?
They're on the Kingdom Prophetic Society's Facebook page, and they're on the Grace Place's Facebook page, and on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that whole meeting is gathered around 6 principles of prayer concerns, one of which is answering the call. And I believe that intercessors they're gonna hold the key in this time we're living in now. They hold the key to the restoration of America or the ruin of America. And our intercessors need to get together. And this is the topic that I'm passionate about. When the intercessors get together, let's intercede. That's not the time to prepare to intercede. That's the time to intercede. So we have a lot of people that's teaching during intercession meetings. I'm for teaching. I am a teacher. That's part of what I do in the body of Christ. I believe in teaching. But we're calling these intercession meetings together, and we're doing more teaching than we are interceding.
Yeah.
We need to get down to interceding.
Yeah, if we're going to teach, but if you're going to intercede.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And that tends to happen. People use intercession meetings as an opportunity for them to teach their latest thoughts or whatever. And
that's right.
That sidetracks.
It does. It really does.
Embarrassing.
Well, and just one scriptural reference to back that up. The disciples came to Jesus and they said, "Lord, teach us to pray." They didn't say, "Teach us how to pray." It said, "Teach us to pray."
Wow.
And I think there's something to that language. The specific nature of that language. We need to get busy praying and not talking about how to pray. I think the Lord just wants to hear our heart concerning these issues that we face.
Wow, huge point there. Huge point. Yep. Huge truth. All right, Mr. Rowland. Well, listen, we're going to have to call it a day. This is midweek with the Smith and Rowland Show. We're glad everybody's with us.
Yes.
And as we continue to do this unplugged, and then we got on Sundays at 3 o'clock. Of course, we do Smith and Rowland Show video podcast. But we'll be just follow us here and unplug too. And as we can, we're going to put them out when we got something to say.
Yes, buddy.
All right, Mr. Rowland, be careful. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. All right.
Bye.